especially not if Bungie was going to bleed on her. "Come on, come on." Nicole didn't answer, concentrating instead on getting dressed. Her head was throbbing twice as hard as it had been when she first awoke, and she desperately wanted a drink. But Jasp wouldn't appreciate it if she helped herself to his supply without asking first. Luckily, she wouldn't have to. Once she was dressed, she'd drive Bungie over to Packer to get fixed up, and Packer always had some booze lying around. She could easily talk him out of a drink or two for her headache while he sewed Bungie up. As she pulled on her clothes, and as Bungie cursed under his breath behind her, she listened to the voices whispering through her pounding head. They were louder than usual today. In fact, she couldn't remember them ever being as loud as they were right now. Certainly not since the first time she'd heard them, 4 years ago on the day after her 15th birthday. Drake had introduced her to whiskey at that party, and for a long time afterward she just assumed the voices were a normal part of a hangover, like the buzzing in her ears and the sweats and the dry mouth and the headache. But over the years, she'd slowly come to realize that the voices weren't something that anyone else experienced. The voices were totally and uniquely her. She'd been scared when she first figured that out. She'd heard about people with strange voices whispering at them, usually as part of a creepy story about a serial killer or someone who'd walked off a 10-story building. Nicole's voices never told her to do anything like that. They never told her to do anything. They never even called her by name like they did in most of those stories. Usually she couldn't even make out any words, like she was listening to a radio that was playing too softly. Over time, she'd gotten more or less used to it. Even when the voices stopped being just a part of every hangover and started coming at odd times of the day or night, it didn't bother her too much. Though she sometimes wondered if she was going insane when she woke up in the darkness and heard the whispers. "What the hell is taking you so long?" "Almost ready," Nicole said, making a face into her sweatshirt as she pulled it over her head. This was not exactly the way she'd hoped to sleep this one off. But she didn't have much choice. Bungie was part of Trake's group, and he was hurt, and if she didn't help him, she could find herself out on the street with no one to take her in. It wasn't like Trake couldn't get someone else to play lookout and distraction for him. The Philadelphia streets were full of people who would jump at an easy job like that. "Let me get my boots," she added, hurrying toward the window. "You got shoes right there." "Those are wet," Nicole said over her shoulder. "You throw up on 'em?" "I stepped in a puddle." "Oh, for—" His voice trailed off into a rumble of muttered curses. She actually had stepped in a puddle, though not exactly a soaky one, if Bungie bothered to check to see if the shoes were wet. Not that she cared. But her boots were near the window, and getting to the window got her to her window box. And that was what she really cared about. She needed to see if, sometime during her weekend binge, her whiskey-soaked brain had remembered to water her flowers. It had. Even just a glance showed her that the dirt was still moist, and the plants themselves seemed to be doing fine. "I swear, if you're mooning over those damn plants—" "I'm getting my damn boots," Nicole shot back, grabbing one and leaning against the wall for balance as she pulled it on. She ran her eyes over her small collection of plants, then lowered her gaze to the window box itself. That small wooden box was the single constant in her life, the one thing that had been with her since she left her grandmother's house 4 years ago. In that time, some of the plants had died and been replaced, and some of the planter's wood trim had chipped.